Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is for you, I'm Cyclone. It's time for our Let's Play Train Simulator. We are going to do the final service of the three for the Class 442 that we're going to take a look at here. We're starting at London Victoria, heading to Gatwick Airport, and then returning to London Victoria. So, kind of like the round trip that you might expect the driver to do on a shift. They get on at one spot, they get off at the same spot, and they come back and do it again the next day. And usually, in this case, kind of might be a couple or three or four times, because of the length of time involved, but this is the kind of thing I want to say that you might see a train driver do on a regular basis. I don't want to say for sure because I'm not a train driver. I'm just speculating on this. But I have heard of this round trip thing being done. There was actually a complete shift video I saw from the Netherlands where someone did 3 different journeys. They linked up to start and stop at the same starting location. So I assume that's what they do in a lot of places. But in any case, except for North America, we won't talk about that for freight drivers. That's a different story completely. In any case, round trip, hour-long service. Let's go ahead and get this Gatwick Express service going. It says 55 minutes here. It says 60 in the manual, so we know it's about an hour. Let's get it started, shall we? You're about to depart with this Gatwick Express service down to Gatwick Airport and then form the return back to London Victoria. Open the doors and allow passengers to board here at London Victoria before departing. Roger. That is done. You can see that we're going to put our reverser up, get ourselves ready to go. I'm going to turn the instrument lights on. Headlights are already on. So let's just get another look at our train. We'll take a look at the back of our train before we take off for Gatwick Airport. Doors now locked. We depart London Victoria. Our stop being Gatwick Airport. We're going to see a service come in, number 2C09. Again, not all the services are numbered. By the way, there's one leaving over there, just around 375. We'll see it coming up later as well as we move forward. But not all the services are going to be numbered like that. 375 was not numbered. And the reason for that is because I guess some of the trains might be fictional additions. Some might actually be services exist, but we don't have a number for them. Whatever the case may be, some were confirmed, some were not. I don't know if I got a beep coming out up to that signal or not. That's interesting if I didn't. But either way, we should get the rest. So, we're going to watch that 375 head off towards the Chatham main line. There's another train over there, just static. You see there's no label on the train behind it. So we don't have any information on that train. It is just sitting there right now. Indeed, I do believe it is just a static consist in a yard, so it's not going to do anything. So I can move the train back into series for just a moment so I could maintain speed coming up to the uphill. And I'm going to have to eventually just go up. I'm just going to hold on to it for a moment until I get to the 40 limit completely, in fact, which I'm starting to do right now. So I'm going to increase the speed again. There we go. I can weak field up to 40 at this time. Reason being that's the fastest speed increase option available. And therefore I want to get up there fast. I'm going to try to get to 45 on the same stint, but I may have to temporarily cut it off. Let's find out. Nope, I'm good. But I'm going to cut it off anyway because we're getting to the end of the speed we are allowed to gain here. So I'm going to shut it off here for a moment. There's that 375 heading off again towards the Chatham main line. You just saw it heading off. There is another train coming up here. This is why I'm keep pushing the button here. I want to see this train coming up. There it is. 2F01 forming 1C04. So that is a 2-train situation. We're going to see that train probably on the return trip. But we may not. I don't know. We may not. Then you have the name of our service, which is going to be very interesting as well. We are not showing a number. Right now, I'm going to stop fooling around until I have green signals, because it just doesn't pay off to fool around if you miss a button on the cab. So I'm going to wait to goof off with my train. So you can see that we are going via Clapham Junction. We have to be through there at 9:04. We're going to pick up our passengers at Gatwick. We're going to go via East Croydon. And we're going to actually stop at Clapham Junction. So we're actually going to probably be stopped for some reason. I don't know what reason, but we are going to be stopped. So, yeah, we're not finishing the trip to Victoria. Maybe there was a problem with trying to retrace the route through London Victoria's tracks. So it must have been a problem with that preventing us from finishing the drive to London Victoria. Oh well. So you can see I'm starting to gain speed on a downhill 1 in 84 right now. This is not new. We've seen this before on trips out of London Victoria in the past. I remember it vividly because I did a few services on it. On that downhill. A few different services. We're moving into a 60 mile per hour speed limit. My speed seems to have stagnated at 45.4. And it started to decrease again as I coast. Didn't get that train number. Apologies. We can now go 60, but I have a yellow, so I'm going to note the fact that I have half a minute to get to Clapham Junction, and I have a single yellow. Now, I can at least pull into the platform, but I may have to stop at Clapham Junction. This is a possibility because I was on a single yellow aspect. So I have slowed down just in case. Timeliness bonus has been attained. We still have a signal. I knew it was going to be at least a yellow. Could be a red. There's a train over there. We know it's a 450. That's all we know. It is a yellow signal. We're going to keep going. But we are going to proceed under caution. Never mind. It's a double caution. Not as much caution. So, less caution. More speed, less caution. I like it. I'm playing in series right now because of the yellow. If it was a green aspect, I would move it straight up to weak field and get up to top speed immediately. But because of the caution, I'm being a little more, well, cautious. I'm assuming because I'm going slower as well, we will eventually see green signals, but right now we're kind of holding on double yellows. Had a moment of lag there coming out of, I think it was Falcon Junction. I think that's what that's called. So I'm kind of hoping this signal clears, but it may not. I may have to just hold a brake right here. There's the green. We're good. We can go up to full speed now. And I'm close enough to a full speed. I'm just going to keep it in series. But I will have to apply a brake and eventually find a good braking point. So I may move to parallel while I'm applying that brake. We'll see. Train coming. 2R31. We have a green signal. Goofing around is now possible. Goofing around is no longer possible. Goofing around is now possible. This is Wandsworth Common. I didn't get that train. You know, it's a little annoying when I can't go for a shot at a station because I can't trust the train to keep going. An emergency brake just suddenly showed up somewhere. There's another yellow. This time I caught the double yellow, so I have to be a little extra careful here, just in case. I'll be happy if the train I'm following heads off towards Tattenham Corner. I'm not increasing the speed because of this constant yellow. I don't want to go up to 70 yet because of that. Until I see a solid green and I get a bell, I really see no reason to increase beyond my double yellow speed. As long as I keep seeing the green, I know I'm going at a good speed. The green after an alert, I mean to say. That's probably a good speed. According to the ET, I'm going to be about a minute and a half early at this point. A little less than that, maybe. And we have the green bell, so I'm going to go ahead and increase into a parallel setting for right now. That will allow me to increase my speed a little bit, keeping the same brake setting, so I don't have to worry about the brake setting so much. And the green chimes continue. I think I see another train over there. That is number 2B88, and we're seeing the front of the train is at the other side from where we are. So there's the front of the train up there. It's heading in that direction, looking like it's making a stop, or it has just made a stop, one or the other. So a stopping passenger service. Or it's heading off towards the South London Network. I don't know. That might have been the Balham area. I didn't catch it. That might have been Streatham Common, actually. I see a yellow. That might be a different track than mine. It's green now, whatever happens. Which means we were catching the train in front again. It is not going at maximum speed. And knowing that we're following a train, we want to keep in mind 60 speed limit coming up a little bit later on. We want to probably slow down a little bit earlier because that train will be slowing down around and getting us to slow down anyway as we catch up to it. So we're going to want to slow down just a little earlier ourselves. So I'm at 63 right now, which probably is helping with that task. But I didn't want to slow down that fast quite yet. The argument could be made that if we are seeing greens, we passed Norbury, by the way, back there. So the argument can be made if we're seeing greens in this scenario, we're actually going too slow. But there's 60 up ahead. We know that worst case scenario, the train is 3 signals ahead of us, which means it's starting its 60 trip right now. I'm going to go ahead and go one more signal, then I'm going to slow it down. Because there's a yellow right there. And my thinking is confirmed. We're getting the green, but I'm going to slow it down anyway, so I've gone ahead and kept it in series. I'm not increasing the brake application yet, though I probably should. In fact, I am going to have to increase the brake application a little bit, so I'm going to do it right now. We're still getting green aspects here, which is what counts. We're getting a warning for the 60 coming up. We're getting a warning for a yellow, which now turned green. I'm probably going to have to increase the brakes just slightly, but I'm keeping an eye on the distance here. I think I'm good. I'm doing okay. I'm good here. Excellent. We're going to be slowing down to 45 up ahead, so these slowdowns are a good idea in principle. This is Selhurst. We saw Thornton Heath a little further back. So as you see, I started to decrease speed even more. We're getting green bells, which is extremely nice. I think we're getting a warning for the 45 coming up right now. There it is. Well, that might be for a junction. I don't know, actually. That'll do for now. So we're now in the 45, and as long as we're not forced onto a junction I don't expect, as we pass another train that's changing its service at some point. We'll see it later, I'm sure. Looks like, oh, there's another train over there. 1G20, I believe that says. There's another one back here, 2L18. I've increased my brake because I was starting to get close to the speed limit again, so I've gone ahead and reduced that now again. We're back to a double yellow aspect. We're going to move into a 60 mile per hour speed limit. There's a train leaving. That's the one I just saw, 2L18. There it is. So we're slowly gaining speed, probably a little too quickly. So I put a small brake application on just to hold it until we were clear into the 60. We have still have a yellow, so I don't want to press this. It's green now. Do I want to press this? Probably not. That's another train coming. That's another one changing its number at some point, so we'll probably see it again. And there is a 442. I think it was 1A09 or something like that. I didn't quite catch it. This is one of those scenarios that there are so many AI trains you cannot possibly prepare to cover every single train as it goes by because you will misnumber them. You have to actually look at the labels to know which one is which. As we go through South Croydon right now, I put a small brake application on to hold my speed for a little bit here. It looks like we're going to be taking the Quarry line. We're probably going to do it on the way back as well. Just my particular guess here. We can now increase to 90 miles per hour, and this is going to be our going speed. Now, we know the train can do up to 110. We just saw a world record scenario where we were encouraged to go 110. And I chickened out at 107 and slowed it down early. I should be going to Weakfield. Why am I taking my time? I want Weakfield. This is where you go, Weakfield. Because the brakes will have too much of an effect on a series setup. So we need the Weakfield. This is Purley Oaks. The next station coming up is Purley. I'm going to put a little bit of a brake application on now to try to maintain a good enough speed for this part of the journey. I was working on my brakes, didn't get that train number for you. This is Purley. I have a green signal. I see a yellow off on the track to the left. Probably for another train that's coming along. That junction goes over to the Red Hill line. It would stop at Colston South, which is the next station we're going to see next to us as we split off onto the Quarry line. We don't have a stop platform at Colston South. So I think you can see in the distance just behind that bush that came along. You can see some houses on the left as well. So it is somewhere in that area over there. I still think that hill's a little bit there. That wall's a little bit close to the track here. I don't know. We're going to be momentarily crossing the track on our left. You can see the track on our left right now. We're going to be crossing that track in just a moment. Our speed has dropped a little bit. comes that crossover, I believe. So I'll remove the brakes for just a moment as we continue into the quarry tunnel. And I put those brakes back on to maintain a reasonable speed. I want to try and get to 16% actually. Well, 14 will do for now. As long as I don't speed. The tunnel building itself as I travel. Loading is a little bit off on this route today, apparently. Green signal is nice and clear. So is that the end of the tunnel, or is that a glitch in the matrix? We shall find out in a moment. Looks like the end of the tunnel. I see trees. So yeah, we're good. We have escaped the matrix this time. So, cruising along here at our 90 mile per hour speed limit, we do have the drop to 80. We saw this coming from the other direction as well in a previous scenario. And we're going to see it again on the other trip back in this scenario, I'm pretty sure. So we are going to have to do that drop to 80. I have lots of time for the stop at Gatwick Airport this time. I'm super early. So I'm going to go ahead and just start dropping now because of that. So I've got a 36% brake application applied. That will have a gradual drop of my speed. That might not be enough now. That I think, why did I not get an alert? I should have been alerted to that 80. I did not get an alert. So there is a AWS ramp that is not working in that area because I should be alerted to that 80. And I was not. Now, normally you're supposed to, as a train driver, you're supposed to know that that's going to be an 80 anyway. And the alert is just a... is just a convenient thing that just reminds you, hey, in case you're asleep, pay attention. But in this case, I wasn't asleep, and thankfully I caught it. So we're going to be moving back to the 90 mile per hour speed limit in a moment. And we're going to let our weak field take control once again. That looks like an overgrown platform. I actually don't remember what that is, but I saw an overgrown platform at that location. A little bit of a bump there. Trying to nail the right percentage of brake here, but it's being very, very finicky. That'll do for now. I'm actually gaining even more time here. We might be sitting at Gatwick Airport for a little while here, guys. Just for a little while. Yeah, I'm now 2 minutes and 11 seconds ahead of my stop time. Now, they don't necessarily want us to show up this early, so I would not be surprised to see if there is a block on our access to Platform 1 if there's a train that still hasn't left. And because I'm actually worried about that, I'm going to actually start slowing down because we have a 40 ahead anyway. So I'm going to start slowing down early for that 40. I've eased it back just a little bit now. We still had a green, but this could be a double yellow. No, we're still going to be clear into the platform. Okay, we don't have a problem. We're clear in. I think we're good. I'm going to move it to series. Because that will allow me to lose a decent amount of speed with the brakes I have now applied. I'm going to apply just a little more because I have lots of time. Preferably not an emergency brake though, so we'll make sure that we respond to that appropriately. Yeah, we're going to have a red signal at the end of the platform because we are expected to stop. We're not allowed to go onwards to Brighton. We have to turn around and head back. That's why we're being given the warnings here to slow down and stop, rather. Because as we pass Horley here, this is Horley as we go to the Gatwick approach, we're going to be expected to turn around and go to the other cab. I'm going to move the train to off at this point. That's our single yellow signal. I'm going to continue dropping it to 30. A little bit early, but again, I have the time. I might as well. I've lost 20 seconds, but I'm still almost 2 minutes ahead. So we're being given a junction signal as well, which might be where the 30 applies. Let's find out. Nope, it's still a 40, but we're going to take the 30 anyway. Because safety. Here's where the 30 takes effect. Now that we're past all the junctions, now we get dropped to 30. But that's because we're taking this junction. You can see a train up there at the platform. That appears to be 1A70. 1F08 is also over at the end of the other platform. So there are a couple trains here today. I'm slowing down a little bit early. There's an airplane. So I've taken the brakes off so I can coast a little further towards the end of the platform. I'm going to reapply them about halfway in. So right about now. Lots of time to make this stop. I am ill-concerned. Not concerned at all. Now this is a 6 or an 8 car stop. I actually reacted to that and I went to the wrong stop marker. I want the 10 car stop, which is this one right here. There's a 12 car stop pretty much right at the signal. So I can stop a little bit before the signal. It's the 10 car stop because it is after the signal. All of our cars will be after the signal when we pass that 10 car stop. So there we are. We've arrived at Gatwick Airport Platform 1. Let's look at our train for a moment. So let's go ahead and get our train ready. We're going to change cabs here. So I'm going to move this to neutral. I'm going to turn the instrument lights off, I hope. That should be off now, I believe. Headlights on this side can go off. I'm going to bring up the F4 head. We're going to go ahead and change. There we go. Okay, change to that cab. We're now heading in the other direction, which is the direction we want to go in. We have our yellow signal. We're going to bring back the F3 head. I'm going to go to the front of the train. I'm going to try to... That's now the back of the train, I believe. Oh, good. I have... No, wait. Okay, they forgot to put a driver in the back of the train, so this train is currently running on automatic. Nonetheless, what I want to do is I want to try to change the destination board. Let's see if I can show you this. London Victoria. Hey, we're all set. Let's get ourselves ready for the trip. And one more look at the train as we get ready to depart. Train manager. You will now form the return to London Victoria. Change cabs by pressing... I already did that. Slowpoke. So we're going to leave Gatwick Airport. Platform 1 going at a speed limit of 30 miles per hour. And back at the other side of the train, as you can imagine, it's still a red signal back there. So yeah, we would not have been allowed to go that way. I think rain is now showing up in the forecast. Either that or I'm just imagining. I might be imagining the rain. I can't decide if I'm imagining the rain. So we're going to go via East Croydon Platform 1. We must be through there at 9:20 or 9:41, sorry. Currently our ETA is not good for this. We must improve this. Now we're on a bit of a problem here because we were expected to sit around the station for about 2 minutes there without doing anything. Because of the extra layover there, that's actually affecting our ability to make this final waypoint before we make our stop at Clapham Junction. So I'm a little concerned we may not have enough time. Hopefully I can gain enough time on this journey to make the waypoint on time. It looks like we have green signals along the journey here. And by the way, I did turn my headlights and my instrument lights on. I don't know if I don't think I did that while we were on camera. So note they are on as we come back to Horley Station. So I'm just going to try to regain some time now. So I have to get a full minute back in the 15 miles that we have. I can do this in 10 minutes if I can get myself up to 90. It can be done in 10 minutes. And I'm going to have to give an extra minute there. So I should be able to do this. ETAs are not always 100% accurate. There are some things they don't take into the calculation to show whether we're on time or not. That actually tells me something about the LIRR route possibly, because the Long Island Railroad, you may know from Train Sim World, when it came out in 2018 or 2019 on that game, you may remember that those tracks are governed by speed signals. The signals actually tell you what speed you're allowed to go, in addition to whether you have a clear aspect to go at full speed, whatever your line speed is. So it's a very complex speed system, and I'm going to have to learn that as I show you the Long Island Railroad, because it's going to be a bit tricky getting used to how to drive that. But keep in mind, that is what you're going to see next time. In my next video, we're going to finally start exploring the Long Island Railroad, and it has been a long time coming to Train Sim World, because there is all sorts of room on that route for expansions. There's all sorts of possibility for taking the route to Grand Central. Someone may want to add the Port Washington branch to connect to Penn Central. Someone may want to do the Long Beach branch. Someone may want to take the route all the way to Ronkonkoma, which my guess is that would be an extension, if anything, because I know that DTG has shown services from Ronkonkoma in Train Sim World. So if anything, that could be an extension. Maybe that will come with the M3. I'm just hypothesizing here. I don't know. I'm not on the inside. Even if I was, I couldn't tell you anyway. So there's all sorts of possibilities that may exist here. And I'm going to be very interested to see what DTG does with this Long Island Railroad after its release. Whether there's any additional changes, or not changes, whether there's any additional building. There are, like I mentioned, several branches of Port Washington, the Long Beach. There's another branch that is already on the route that goes to Hempstead, but there's also a West Hempstead. That branch is accessed via St. Albans. And there are, of course, there are the two main lines. The one goes beyond Ronkonkoma to its end. I forget what the end of either of those routes are. But I know one of those routes goes to Babylon. And there's a little connecting route that takes you to Babylon from the Ronkonkoma route as well. So there are a lot of options for travel there, and I will be curious to see whether and how DTG themselves expand the route, and also what shows up in the workshop. People are going to want to use the assets they have access to in other routes and manufacture those routes in the workshop. And my guess is the train will... Oops, I need more speed off. My guess is that the train is going to have destinations for everywhere on the Long Island Railroad network. So I'm going to guess that Ronkonkoma is obviously going to be on there because we can replicate the TSW services if we want to. So I'm going to guess Ronkonkoma is definitely on there. As we're under an 80 speed limit now, that's why I slowed down. And obviously like Port Washington is probably going to be on there because trains coming out of Penn Central, they can go to Port Washington. So I would not see a reason for them to exclude Port Washington. Same with Long Beach. Obviously, I'm going to assume Atlantic Terminal is in there because it connects to Jamaica on the TSW route as well. And the destinations at the end of the two main lines, they got to be on there as well because trains can be going all the way over there from Penn Central. They'd be really long services. Maybe one only picks up partway along the route. Maybe it's a Jamaica to the end of the line. I don't know. But or Atlantic Terminal to the end of the line. I'm not sure. But there are... Why am I not gaining speed? There are a lot of possibilities as to where trains can go on that route. So I'm going to be very, very interested to see if that route gets extended and where it gets extended. And there are so many trains that could be introduced on the Long Island Railroad. I know, for example, of the M3 because it was a TSW DLC. It was a Train Sim World DLC. So I know of the M3. But someone mentioned the M9, which people seem to think is less likely in the group that I've been chatting with. But people have mentioned the M9. And there's a couple of other models as well that aren't even the M models, but other kinds of trains. And this could allow for different time periods on different routes as well. So I'll be very interested. This Long Island Railroad and Train Simulator Classic, and Train Sim Classic, is a great route option. I expect, knowing that Cactus Juice was involved in making the route, that he will have done a sensational job. I don't even have to look at the route yet, and I can tell you he's going to do a sensational job because he. I have yet to play them, but he told me one time that he made scenarios for the Washington to Baltimore route, and he said he made sure they were rock solid before release. And hearing him say that makes me want to play Washington to Baltimore. So at some point, I am putting Washington to Baltimore into my schedule, and I'm going to play those scenarios. I'm going to find out if he's right, because if he's right, oh boy, have I been delaying a good option for quite some time. So we'll find out. I want to give that a try now. So yeah, Long Island Railroad is going to come first, but I'm thinking on the next trip back to the U.S., I might do Washington to Baltimore now, because unless something else comes out first. There are a couple other options for routes that might come out first. So pending that, I'm probably going to do the Washington to Baltimore after Long Island Railroad, but I'm going to do some other Germany or UK in the middle of that as well. So we'll see what happens. But I am optimistic. If this route is as good as I expect it to be, I'm optimistic that there is still some good stuff to be done in this game. And this game is not, as Train Sim World players like to say, dead. I mean, I don't see them able to put the Port Washington branch on their version of Long Island Railroad. Just saying. I don't see them doing it. But someone's probably going to do it here, and I look forward to it. By the way, that is not a request. So just, if you want to do it on your own. You're welcome to. I will play it. If it shows up, I will play it. Sometime. I see a yellow, but that appears to be a different route. I believe I'm still green. Yeah, I'm still green. The ETA is not exactly resetting yet. I still have 4 minutes to get where I need to go, but I'm going about 90 miles per hour. A mile and a half a minute means I'm going to go that 6 miles. So I'm assuming that there must be a signal up ahead that is going to cause problems for me. And if that is the case, that is extremely, extremely disappointing. — 15%, that's a good number for right now, except I'm losing too much speed, so... back to 11. I'm actually losing speed on the 11% brake now, which I was not doing before. I was gaining speed, so maybe I didn't need to drop that speed there. Oh well. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, of course, because, like I said, Long Island Railroad is going to be next, and I'll be happy to show that off for you. And I would love to have you around for a lot of wonderful journeys there. I believe 7 scenarios come with the route. Brooklyn Baller is the name that I found humorous. Probably a reference to Brooklyn Brawler. And, of course, we also have a 2-part scenario there as well, which goes through Jamaica. So I'm curious to see how those scenarios work. I mean, I assume we'd have to go through Jamaica. It's a good midpoint. And I have a feeling we're going to have a couple scenarios where we have to shunt a train into position or prepare a train for something. Here's Pearly Oaks, so I guess this is going to be an unnamed waypoint. We don't have it in our goals, but it is listed as a waypoint in the scenario editor, and you'll see it in the scenario editor as a waypoint. Once again, this is because it is our pathing, and the idea is if we do not have this waypoint, then apparently during testing, the scenario pathed the train. The dispatcher sent the train over to a different track. So for that reason, this path has to be put in so we make sure we stay on this exact path and don't run into another train or have a permanent red signal because the train's trying to come at us. So that's what those are for again. We're going to start getting our speed dropped, so I'm lowering my speed immediately for the 60. And this is where the timing's not going to work out. I can see already. This is where the timing's going to bother me. Well, we have 2 miles to go. I'm going to put the train to off at this point. I'm just going to shunt it for a little while or coast it at this speed as long as I can. I'm going to try and hold it at 60 as long as I can. So let's slower this now. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted to do, and I'm just going to pray that I've got the math right on this. I may not. I may not have it as we go through South Croydon. We're still almost a full mile away. We have to keep going to 30. I can't stop my slowdown here. I have to keep going to 30, unfortunately. Oh, this can still be done. I have to push it. I have to push it. I've got this. I've got this. Forget that ETA. It is half a minute off. No problem. We got it. 3 seconds late, but it'll do. We now have to arrive at Clapham Junction, platform 12. That is where we're going to make our stop. Not a passenger pickup, just a stop. So we have to be there at 9:51. We are doing pretty good at this point for that time. So let's go ahead and just finish this. I went ahead and put it into series for a moment so I can get back up to 30. I'm going to increase it again as we come towards the start of our ability to go 45. Moving into shunt to get ready. And now I'll move it forward to 45. Okay, I thought I was a little too early on that, but I luckily made that through. I don't know of any train I'm following this time, so I'm going to go ahead and start moving the speed up to 60 immediately. I'm going to do the same when I get to the 70. I'm just going to have to be ready to drop it at 60. And then we're going to coast at 60 all the way into Clapham Junction, pending any red signals for any trains that we have to wait for. Which is not likely because our arrival time is before our ETA right now, so not likely we're going to have that problem. So I've lowered my throttle to a series setting for right now. Going to move it to off for a moment. That seems smarter than using a brake for some reason. Making our way again through Selhurst. So back to a series setting. We should be able to make our way up to 70 as soon as we clear it. There we go. Over to Wakefield for a moment. Okay, back to a parallel. I'm going to start putting a small brake application on just to control my speed. That is too strong of a brake application, I think. No, we're actually gaining. Okay, I'll take it. This is, I've suddenly forgot the name of that station. Thornton Heath. Thornton Heath is that station we just passed. You have a brain experience once in a while where something is forgotten and you have to open the filing cabinet and dig it out, and that's where it was. It was buried at the bottom of the filing cabinet. So Thornton Heath was that station. I'm hitting 70 miles per hour now, so I'm going to put a small brake application on top of the one I already had applied to get ourselves back down to 69. We have gained a little bit of time now, so we actually are estimated to arrive before our stop time, which, again, doesn't mean anything after what we saw at East Croydon, but you never know. Might be accurate. This is Norbury. You can see the 60 coming up. I'm attempting to maintain enough speed until the signal up ahead, that's 0.3 of a mile away. That is where I'm going to start to slow down. In fact, never mind. I'm at 70 now, so I'm going to have to slow down now. So just a bit of a smaller slowdown at this point. I'm going to take that back off for a moment. Actually cross the signal and wait another moment longer, and now I'm going to start slowing it down. I'm actually slowing down a little too quickly, so I'm easing the brakes off a little bit here. This is Selhurst. Sorry, not Selhurst. This is Streatham Common. I was about to call it Selhurst Common. That would have made up a new station. How about that? Streatham Common. There's a train. That was a train, I think, that just went by. That train was actually timed to go by there. Wow, that was actually really good timing. Either that or it was a car, and I mistook it for a train. Wow, good timing. That was amazing timing. I don't even know what that train was. I didn't expect that to come into play today, but it did. That was fantastic. I'm trying to get the brakes onto a good number. I'm going to have to accept 20. I can't seem to do any better than 20. I guess I can switch between series and parallel as I need to, so that might be what I have to do. Switch between series and parallel. I can maintain the smooth brake application at 20. 20%, I should say. We are only 2.8 miles from Clapham Junction, so we want to make sure we don't blow the scenario at this point. Is that a train coming in? Nope, that's just scenery. Never mind. Gonna drop to a series application of throttle for a moment. Move it back up to parallel. We're We're not on any kind of downhill yet, but we are about to be as we come into Clapham Junction. We can see 1.5 miles roughly down the line. We have 2 miles to go to Clapham Junction, so a bit of a downhill entry into what I believe is called Falcon Junction. Or is it, no, Factory Junction. I called it Falcon Junction earlier too. It's actually called Factory Junction, I believe. And if I'm messing up that junction with something else, I apologize. I just know it's on this route. You know what? This is Wandsworth Common. Clapham Junction is next. I can see it. Fortunately, I am slowing down with a series application right now, and I have 2 full minutes to make this stop. I think I have no problem making this stop. But I'm thinking I actually want to start putting it into a coast situation right now. So, train off, brakes off. I'm going to let the train just coast for a moment. I will start to slow down as it... Actually, never mind. I am within a mile, so I'll start to slow down now. Platform 12 is mine. I noticed the AI was a bit quieter on this return journey, so we didn't actually see a lot of trains on this return journey. Being warned of a double yellow signal as we come into Clapham Junction, as we are going to be stopping at Clapham Junction, not continuing London Victoria. So I've cut my speed down to 40 for the time being. Just going to remind you again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell because you will be the first to know when Long Island Railroad or some other really neat route gets posted on this channel for your consumption and for riding along if you don't care to ride it yourself. There are going to be a lot of skeptics because of the Train Sim World version of Long Island Railroad. I welcome the skeptics on board, and I welcome the opportunity to show you what you're missing. I did not hesitate. This was a good one to pick up. I don't get a lot of routes early. This is one I wanted to get early. I didn't even get the route that adds to the Chatham Main Line to go to Blackfriars. I didn't even do that. I wanted this route early. So that's a red signal at the end of the platform. We need to come to a stop before that red signal, which is exactly what I intend to do. Putting a heavier brake application on. I want to stop at the 10-car marker. That might not matter because it's at the end of the platform. If I stop at the 10-car marker, I might go slightly beyond... I might chance going slightly beyond the signal here. So I'm just coasting to stop right at the end of the platform. That will do. I'm not going to push it. That will do. So again, this is just a stop, not a passenger pickup. Let's look at the train. So I don't know why we stopped here. I'm going to assume again it's a game technical issue where we can't finish a trip to London, but we know it's a trip to London because we were told it's a trip to London. So let's see what the storyline is as this scenario finishes. We should get our full score here. I knew it. There has been a power failure at London Victoria, and no trains are permitted to enter. You will be held here until power is back. Scenario complete. That explains why we haven't seen any trains coming out of London, hasn't it? Doesn't it? That explains why we're not seeing any trains. I think it was just a cover for the scenario to, because the scenario could not continue in London for technical reasons. I think it was just a cover for that. So we're going to leave that alone. Let's go ahead and take a look at our scoring screen. Then we'll wrap up and get ready for LIRR. So you've nailed 2 achievements here. I saw one of them come up on the while I was actually finishing my wrap up there. I didn't catch exactly what it was called. But as you can see, the Class 442 Gatwick Express All-Rounder, I think that was the one. The 2,400 points one is probably an achievement for getting all 3 scenarios, and unfortunately I'm not seeing the name of it right now, nor did I catch it. But Gatwick Express, that might actually be the name of the 2,400. I don't know. I want to find out. Let's check my achievements, which you can't see right now, I don't believe. So I can hide that from... I'm hiding that from view. I want to give you information on what those achievements are. If I can actually get the achievement box to come up. Here it is. Okay, it looks like I have located it, and I can tell you now that the Gatwick Express Perfect Driving was the A+. Award for completing scenario 442 Gatwick Express with no penalties deducted. You had to get 1,000 points on this one. the Gatwick Express All-Rounder was awarded for completing all career scenarios in this DLC pack with a total score of 2,400 points. That's what the All-Rounder achievement you see on your screen is. So, yeah, the A plus achievement is basically for doing this. That's the A plus achievement, getting a perfect score on those five timeliness markers and not getting any penalties. And I will tell you, the one at East Croydon, I did not think I was going to make that one for a second. I actually honestly thought I was not going to make that East Croydon one. And this was mostly a blind run, except for that little part. It was mostly a blind run. So we actually did that in one shot as well. I'm very happy about that. So yeah, we're all set now. And that is 3 Gatwick Express services done. What are we going to do next time? Well, I can't show you yet. But Long Island Railroad is going to be showing up in my library. And when it shows up in my library, you're going to see it. And you're going to get to watch me play it. I am just so eager to show that route off for you. Now, if you are here on the London to Brighton playlist and LIR has been out for a while, you know, or even if you don't care about LIR and you want to see more London to Brighton scenarios, look on the playlist, see if there's anything after this video. If there is, it will be following right after this. If it is not showing on the playlist, then this is the last one I produced for it right now. More will be coming. I have the FCC 377 in mind. I have the 460 Juniper in mind, which also served as a Gatwick Express train. And pretty sure I have some other ones as well. So I don't know what they all are offhand. Those are just 2 that came to my mind. I think I have a steam engine that goes on this route for one scenario as well. So we'll try and get to that one as well. So there are going to be those. There's going to be some scenario packs, some workshop scenarios that take place on this route as well. Needless to say, there's a lot planned for this route that can happen. This is one of the more popular routes in the workshop for scenarios. I think there's 1,800 or more scenarios in the workshop for this route alone. And of course, South London to Brighton's coming up as well, which will be a completely different playlist, and South London Network leading into that. So keep an eye out for all of that on this channel. I will see you next time. I'm Cyclone. Make sure you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for your part of the world. And again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I said that already, but I can't say that enough. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you for more journeys. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.